Thanks for staying with us. It's time now to take a look at stories making headlines on Nigerian newspapers this Monday, beginning with The Nation and, of course, the president's directive following the killings of 16 officers in Delta State is still making the news, as we will see shortly. The Nation says Tinubu orders action against killers of 16 officers and soldiers, houses razed, community deserted. Governor Wuri and Pandef condole with the families. In other stories, Zulum shares food items to 52,000 residents, gives 100 million to 2,000 more. Benue PDP chieftain Utanin raised to replace Ayu as chair. There's also the story of unions directing varsity workers to begin a warning strike, and Lagos to revive bid for special status as well as listing of LCDAs. The Punch says, still on the killings of soldiers in Delta State, Tinubu Senate order manhunt for killers, troops comb warring communities. President condemns attack, says the defense headquarters has full authority to bring anyone responsible to justice. All right, and there's a picture story now talking about the start of the subsidized food markets in Lagos State. Well, consumers are said to be lamenting shortage of POS machines as the government says payment of these essential food items will be made electronically and not via cash. Senate warns against supplementary budget excess loans. Abducted editor's wife cries for help, says husband easygoing. That's a picture of Mr. Olatunji there. Textile import, 7 others. Gulp 1.4 trillion naira after CBN ban lift. And regarding the impending strike between SANU and NASU, these bodies vow to ground varsities as government feigns ignorance. The Daily Times is next. Fear grips Delta community as President Tinubu spits fire following his directive that the culprits be punished. Pressure mounts on Senate President Akpabio to revoke Abdul Ningi's suspension. Bandits abduct 14 in fresh attack on Kaduna communities. NJC, that's the Judicial Council, alleges bid by fraudsters to defraud retired judicial officers. Also, you can check some of these stories on the Daily Times. Nigerian News Direct says also that residents desert community in fear of reprisal attacks. Fola-Adeyemo, a senior advocate of Nigeria, urges army to halt the reprisal attacks, though. Former CAN chairman says regarding Kaduna abductions, bandits taking advantage of government's weakness to torment us. Federal government saves 31.1 billion naira from demurrages freight charges. This and more also on Nigerian News Direct. Silent Times says Army fumes, launches counter operations. A Delta monarch is quoted as saying one of the slain soldiers stood firmly by him, also calling out, condemning the attacks. NDLEA apprehends hairstylist, dispatch rider peddling cannabis-laced chin-chin to students. Concerning one there, then there's this human angle story. Kaduna police arrest housewife who allegedly hired assassins to kill her husband over a 400,000 naira debt. Alleged fraud prosecutes former Governor Yahaya Bello, PDP chieftain, tells the EFCC. That's all on Silent Times. Blueprint says away from the Delta communal clash. Well, that's still prominent. But in other stories, refer alleged budget pardon to EFCC ICPC. Serap tells Senate. Once Ningi reinstated, Woko says he gets 1 billion naira for constituency projects. Nigeria's leather industry could generate $17.5 billion yearly. That's according to NILEST. And the federal government provides additional 60 billion naira supplementary budget for student loan. Let's take one more on Blueprint. After 178 days in captivity, terrorists release 9 Gusau varsity students. This Nigeria is the last paper from my end. Edo PDP chair abduction. Kidnappers yet to contact family and associates. APC condemns the act as security agencies step up rescue mission. All right, Theo, what do you have?
Well, starting from the Nigerian Tribune here, killing of soldiers in Delta. Bring culprits to justice. Tinubu directs DHQ CDS. Federal government recovers 6.1 billion naira from arbitrary port charges. Import-export fraud in 5 years. Saves 33.1 billion from demurrage freight rates. NJC raises alarm over alleged bid to defraud retired judicial officers. And of course, stakeholders raise concern as Nigerians' inflation rate rises to 31.70%. That's in Nigerian Tribune this morning. Now let's move on to New Telegraph. Attack on soldiers, direct attack on countries, as Tinubu warns. And of course, that's the bold header there. Price hike, man CPPE faults reps comments on cement manufacturers. Kidnappings, lawyers push against capital punishment for offenders. Hardship, Nigerians lament high cost of eggs. Withheld salary, Sanu Nasu begin nationwide strike today. That's in the New Telegraph this morning. The leadership newspaper says here, scarcity of passport looms over 16 billion naira production debt. Killing of soldiers, military lays siege to Bayelsa Delta Creeks. Barrow Port project far from completion. Niger communities lament. Putin wins another term as Russian president. Kaduna community releases names of 14 kidnapped. Lagos to push for special status. Listing of LCDAs. That's in the leadership newspaper this morning. The Daily Trust is saying budget padding. Nigerians angry with lawmakers. Ex-legislators slam Senate. I got 1 billion naira for constituency projects. Senator Nwoku. Nigeria operating a faulty budgeting system. Serap CSO dons demand investigation. Tinubu to CDS, bring killers of military personnel to justice. That's in Daily Trust this morning. Let's move now to national economy. Blackouts. Nigeria suffered 215 grid collapses in 13 years. As outdated manual system worsens electricity situation in the country. Of course, that's in national economy this morning. The Guardian says trade payments suffer as service disruption may linger till April. Slain soldiers, Tinubu grants military full authority to pursue justice, silent on reprisals. Sanu Nasu begins nationwide strike today. Northern leaders, Serap seeks probe of 3.7 trillion naira budget padding allegation. Senate reps hold secret hearing on new students' loan bill. That's in the Guardian newspaper this morning. Nature News says food security. The many hurdles of farmers in troubled states. That's the bold header there. Obasanjo Farms, Fan Milk, partner on expansion of dairy farming. Ogun State government to revive 4,000 hectares rubber plantation. Tinubu orders urgent grain distribution after warehouse looting in the FCT. That's in Nature News this morning. The West says here, Lagosians enjoy 25% discount on foodstuff at Onja Eco Market. Ekiti government raises 20 hectares of Indian hemp plantation. You boast because you ignored Articles Council. Lagos PDP chairman tells John Doe. That's in the West newspaper this morning. Well, the Inquirer, the Abuja Inquirer says here, scores of directors in FCTA face premature retirement. Wike ignored seniority, says sources. Over 250 directors may be forced out. NJC raises alarm as fraudsters target retired judicial officers. Soldiers murder. OD Zaki Biam tragedies unfold in